We're back. All right, so we'll see what actually happens here. We're kind of playing around with a couple of different things to see if we can't get this thing to stop doing this lag thing so much. So in terms of the podcast goes, I will piece together both of these videos. In terms of the live stream, welcome back. What's up? What's going on, guys? So I think we were talking about football this last week. A couple of good games definitely happened. A couple of injuries, including... hey, it's not stuttering. That's good to know. And then a couple of injuries starting with Jimmy Garoppolo. Rich, what do you know about Jimmy?
Well, they originally thought it was a Liz Frank injury along with
Who the fuck is Liz, and why does she keep injuring
foot.
people?
What?
Who the fuck is Liz, and why does she keep injuring people?
She's real angry about the sport of football.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's actually just broken bones, and the Liz Frank tendon did not actually get damaged.
And that's a good thing.
Yes. Not that it really, but the thing is it doesn't really matter as far as the season goes. He's out 7 to 8 weeks for healing of the bones because he doesn't require surgery. But it's going into week 14. That basically puts him back at the earliest of the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
So, one, we have to make it there. And two, do you then put Jimmy Garoppolo back in on a completely freshly healed foot?
Yeah, let's say
NFC
that,
or the Super Bowl. I mean, if we made it that far.
Let's say that Brock Purdy has gotten you guys this far. And the team is moving along nicely, and they've figured out that sort of like the Seahawks, we don't need an A++ quarterback. Not that Jimmy Garoppolo ever was, but my point is that they can survive maybe with Brock Purdy. Yeah, I'm not sure that I would want to move him out.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, if he's playing well and we've gotten to that point, you're probably just going to roll with it.
Yeah. Right.
If he's not playing well, we're not going to be at that point, so it won't matter anyways. So it's kind of I think it's almost kind of a moot point. But if for the next 7 weeks he's out there putting up similar type stats to what Jimmy Garoppolo's been able to do, and our defense holds up, I mean, I don't see why you would switch at that point.
I agree.
Unless something catastrophic happened.
I agree. Who benefits from a fantasy perspective and who gets hurt, though? Because they can't lean on Christian McCaffrey anymore, can they?
No.
They absolutely will, though.
Yeah.
It's going to run through him and Debo. That's the two players that it's just going to be like we saw at the game. And they're not going to ask him to make big throws on the field, be, short dump off passes.
Right. The game plan doesn't really change that.
For the next week or
to Kittle.
For the next week or two, I say that the biggest hit is Ayuk.
Okay. Sure. That makes sense.
Because he's been that guy down the field, getting the chunk plays and whatnot. And I mean, now, who knows? Maybe Brock Purdy has an arm and can go out there and
there's no question about it. He's playing for
happen.
His life right now, right? I mean, he wants to go out there and put up some tape.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I mean, he's Mr. Irrelevant. He literally has nothing to lose. He's the third string quarterback. Everybody expects him to go out there and suck.
By the way, he's also the first Mr. Irrelevant quarterback to throw for a touchdown in the NFL. Isn't that what I heard? Did I hear right?
Yes.
That's fucking weird. So already he's broke the mold. Good for him. And
he's already thrown a quarter of Russell Wilson's touchdowns on the year.
Yes, he has. By the way, I don't know if you guys are watching the stream or not, but I'm just sitting here playing with Harry Potter and Voldemort like they're actually fighting. And then I've got Deadpool just kind of coming in, doing his own thing. Like, this is what happens when you guys aren't here. I just sit here and I just fucking play with my toys. So...
Yeah, we are remote because we are all feeling a little under the weather today. So we figured it was just best to do it this way.
Yeah.
But still put the pod out.
Ooh, pod?
Pod.
Pod. That's different. Okay.
Pod, yeah.
Yes.
Pod.
All right.
Any other injuries? Obviously, we had that one, and then there was an injury on your team, Scott.
Yes, there was. If the Seahawks have a running back, they got injured this last week. So let's see here. So already we've got. Already we've got. Holy shit! Why am I blanking on his name?
Kenneth Walker?
Nope.
Dallas?
Nope. The guy from last year that finished out really strong.
Oh, Penny.
Rashad Penny is already down, of course. Season-ending injury, a broken leg, and then so then Kenneth Walker gets, K9 gets the call, and he is killing it for us for the first couple of games, especially, and he's not had a great last couple of games, but by all accounts, I haven't watched the game yet, but. It sounds like he was running pretty well in this game against the Rams, and then he gets injured, and it's a strain, not a sprain, which means that he could
a jammed foot.
Basically, yeah. So he could theoretically be back this week. My guess is that they will hold him out at least a week, but in the game. Travis Homer
you guys are in the playoffs currently.
Yeah, we are, and so it's how. But okay, so best case scenario, we make the playoffs. What are the actual chances that we make a deep run in the playoffs? Pretty slim, right? So if you got Kenneth Walker as your primary running back next year, you're not going to risk him this year, right? So I think they're going to play it a little bit safe this next week. Because who do we play this week? We play. The Panthers. So we're at home to the Panthers, playing the Panthers. So that's a winnable game without having your primary running back in there. So Travis Homer was out with an injury already in this game. DJ Dallas got called up to be the starting running back. So in this game, in basically the same series that Kenneth Walker gets injured. DJ Dallas gets injured, and now our fourth or fifth string running back is in. I forget his first name. Jones Jr. Is our current running back. So I'm not super hopeful on any of them. I do believe that if he's back this week, Travis Homer will be the primary guy. DJ Dallas is just too small to be running. And Travis is not a big guy either, but DJ Dallas is the one that everybody's going for because Travis Homer is coming off the injury as well. But he was trending towards playing this last week anyway. Nobody cared about it because he was the third string running back this week.
Right.
But here we go. So I'm not chasing anybody. I in one league I actually needed a running back really bad this week, so I picked up both Dallas and Homer in case I get the nod. One of them is going to be the starting, so I can stick him in there. But that's only because I'm desperate in that league. Like this is the week before the playoffs, and I had like 4 players out on this one. This is such a stupid week to have. 6 teams on bye. Everybody's got somebody on bye. It's just it's the final bye-apocalypse in the last week of the regular season for fantasy football. It's fucking stupid. So anyway, yeah. So it's more or less irrelevant as far as the Seahawks injuries go. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are going to be good this week, though. I'd play them for sure. Might even play Geno. If you've got a quarterback that's out.
We saw Melvin Ingram get tear his MCL, so I don't really think that change notes are on bye, and Kamara is already underwhelmed, but you're not going to, it might give a few more upticks to Kamara than not.
Absolutely.
Other injuries, Tua got hurt a little bit, but that was ankle, and he would have gone back to the game if it wasn't out of hand, already beyond winning at that point. Waddle hurt his leg. They haven't said much. He's still listed as questionable, but I imagine he plays by Sunday night.
Yeah, Waddle's been kind of fighting a few things, right, though, over the season?
Off and on, yeah.
Okay. So, but as long as they stay in it, and this week they're playing. Are they on bye this week? No, they're playing the Chargers this week.
They're playing the Chargers. Yeah,
Sunday Night Football.
Their Chargers whole team's injured. They're probably the most disappointing team that you know outside of like everyone in the AFC West, excluding the Chiefs, has been disappointing.
Absolutely. That
was the. I think if they play, they're gonna have a field day because there isn't a lot of secondary or defense to be had on, and I would put Herbert down a little bit. Eckler, I think, would bump him up a little bit, but that offensive line's really bad, and Herbert gets hit a lot.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough this week. I think. Did I see that Mike Williams is back? Yeah, he was back this last week, but I think he was on a limited snap count. Let me check here.
It's still early for a lot of this stuff right now.
Mike Williams was not back this week, but he is expected to be back against the Dolphins, set to practice this week. Day-to-day still. That's obviously going to help them if he's back because it gives him another big target. Gives them another offensive weapon that they've been sorely missing. So maybe they can game plan away from getting Justin Herbert hit. But you're right. I'm probably fading him if I can.
Other big injury was Lamar Jackson. He went down with a knee injury. Yeah. So
and he's out a couple of weeks, right? 3 to 4.
1 to 4 weeks. They said, okay. Yeah. Tyler Huntley will take over.
He was listed as days to weeks, which is super helpful.
Thank you, Harbaugh. Awesome.
Tyler, the nice thing with their backup is it's very similar to Lamar Jackson with Tyler Huntley. So I don't really downgrade any of their players. I actually might upgrade them because Tyler Huntley is a little better passer than Lamar.
Yeah, he was. He played. I think he stepped in for a couple of games last season, right?
Yep,
and he did pretty well.
Hi, Amanda. Through the roof for him.
Thank you. Okay, so just real quick, Amanda, I desperately wanted to tell you, like for the last couple of weeks, I almost told you. I even got permission from my wife last week to tell you before we did the whole announcement and things. We were going to tell you on air before everybody else, but just in case some of my family was watching or listening, we didn't want to actually tip it all the way off here. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. And we are so fucking excited because I'm having a baby. Fantasy world. I don't think it matters to you guys, but it matters to me. I'm having a baby. I'm having a baby.
Soon to be Richard Frodo Robley.
Yeah, right. Frodo, what's your middle name?
Scott.
That's a horrible name. Okay.
My dad's name's Ken, so
no shit. That's funny. That's really funny.
We have Matthew Stafford went on IR, and then they went and cut Baker Mayfield from the Panthers, and the Rams claimed him. So I doubt he plays this week, but he'll be the starter for the rest of the season, I think.
They did say that there's a possibility that he is the starter this week.
He's kind of familiar with the playbook and stuff, so
I think he should be the starter. I mean, shit, they've got him. They might as well try him out. I mean, it's not like anybody else they've got right now is going to step up and be the guy that's going to supplant Matt Stafford, but they've got Baker Mayfield. They can maybe get a compensatory pick if he gets picked up by somebody else and signed to a decent contract, right? Isn't that the way it works?
Yeah.
Their compensatory pick is determined by his next salary.
True.
Okay.
But the other thing you have to think about is Matt Stafford got put on IR for a spinal cord injury.
Ooh.
He's had other back issues. Yeah, he's had other back issues like over the past couple of years already.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Stafford may not play again. I mean, there's that possibility. So there's a possibility that Baker Mayfield could be the starter because they're not drafting anybody because they have no draft
How many draft picks? Yeah, it's true. So that's a good call. I mean, this was a really easy decision for them. I think we were in the truck on the way back from fucking Narnia or whatever, when the news broke, and that was basically what you guys had landed on: is the Rams have to take him. They're the best, they're the most reasonable landing spot for him right now because he wasn't gonna if he didn't clear waivers. So,
and it was the only team that put in a waiver in on him.
Yeah.
According to what I saw.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there you go. Any other injuries that are important?
Yeah, we'll kind of blast through this here a little bit. Joe Mixon was full participant, so he's going to be back out there.
He cleared concussion protocol.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Josh Jacob was a little limited in practice from a quad injury, but he should play. Your Deontay Foreman's dealing with a foot injury, but he's 95% certain to play.
Yeah.
Najee's banged up, but he's going to be out there. Jalen Waddle actually commented on his injury, says it's part of the game, don't worry about it. He says he'll be ready to go against the Chargers. Mike Williams, ankle, like we talked about. Traylon Burks is in concussion protocol after that massive hit.
Yeah.
So he's iffy to make it. And the rest of everyone else is pretty much people you're not starting anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, so we don't care about you guys. I don't care that you got injured. If I'm not going to have you on my team, I don't even care about you anymore.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourselves. So, Rick, how did we do last week?
It wasn't terrible.
Okay.
We had it was kind of close. Scott, you had 9 correct. I had 8 correct, and Frodo had 6 correct.
Ouch.
So out of the last 2 weeks, Scott has 16 correct, Frodo has 14 correct, and I have 13 correct because I absolutely choked the week before. As far as picks go. So I believe I am in second place by 1, I believe, and I believe Scott's ahead of me by 2. So yeah, once I get back into the studio, I'll make sure I have all this added all up, so I have it all.
I'll shoot you. I'll shoot you the numbers right now, and then you can touch back on it later.
Yeah. What was the most recent?
All right.
That
So
I had written down there.
Yeah. We got KC. You really write down KC for him? That's so weird. All right.
For what?
Frodo.
I don't write. No.
Oh, Frodo wrote it down this last week, didn't you? You weirdo.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Let me see here. Let me just verify.
I go the week before because it should have all of my tallies at the very bottom.
Okay, so Scott will always be able to sleep in. I don't know what that means. What is that bet? Why are you talking about me sleeping in your notes here, Rick? Should we talk about this?
Oh, that was because you said that you will always be able to sleep in when we were talking about before we could say anything about kids.
Oh, that's right. That's what that was.
Laughed out loud.
Right.
Yeah,
nothing will ever stop me
I thought you were joking.
Okay, so at the end of, let's see here. I think that includes the next week. Yes. So at the end of last week. So yeah, we've got it tallied up here. So at the end of last week, Frodo was at 85. I was at 87. Rick, you were at 83. So I'll let you do some math work there to come up with that.
So that was after the 5, 7, and 8.
That's correct. That is
so say
correct.
that one more time. You had 87?
87. 87.
Frodo had what?
85.
And I had 83?
Yep.
Okay, so based off of that, you are now at 96.
Shit, it's cold out here.
Frodo is at
When I don't have your guys'
91.
body heat like next to me to keep me warm, like a lost hiker in the woods, it gets cold out here.
Yeah.
All right. So Frodo and I are tied at 91. Scott, you have a fairly solid lead right now at 96. But you are picking first this week, so you don't get to just like play it safe.
Hey, that's not how I roll, all right? I make my calls ahead of time for the most part, before everybody's done talking, and then I stick to it. Sometimes,
yeah, once you have a lead, you want to keep that lead. So a lot of the times, you'll take it. You may go a little bit different way than you normally would to keep your cushion on your lead.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I think I did that specifically on one game last week. I think very specifically I did that with one game. All right, so that's cool. That's cool. I don't care. I'll go first. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. So I guess before we get into the games for this next week, let's talk about one quick thing, and that is playoffs are here. Yes. A lot of people are in contention still. We have one league where top to bottom, it is not guaranteed who is in the playoffs and who is not. I do not have a lock on the league yet, and I am in first place. That's very, very upsetting to me.
You basically do, because you have like 200 points on the team in sixth place. So the chance, or like 100 points on the team in sixth place. So the chance of you actually like falling out of playoffs is super slim.
Right, but I
technically there is that possibility.
I could go from the first position to the sixth position like that. Like I have a bye week right now. And so if I win, I keep my bye week. If I lose, now I have to outpace everybody else. And Rich is actually leading me right now in points by 6 points on the season. He's made quite the comeback.
So you better win.
Yeah, I gotta win. No shit. I want a bye week. I want to bye very badly because this is.
Well, first and second get bye week in our league. So
yeah,
yeah.
And if you would have done your job and won, I would have been in the second place.
Yeah, but he didn't. So I'm in second place. Suck it.
I did win in that league. I did.
No. In one shitty.
In one shitty. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't think I've got first place. Do I have a bye locked in that one?
No, because all three of us are 10 and 3. You got me a lot of points, so
yeah, I've got everybody on points.
In standing.
Oh my god!
But you could fall out. Unlikely again, but you could fall out.
I could, yeah. So I'm playing for 2 buys,
and you lose, you fall out. That's really the only way.
And who am I playing this week? I'm playing Rick.
Rich, I need you to beat dogs this week.
I plan on it.
In one shitty, and you're playing Ricky.
Actually, yeah, Rich, if you could just do me a favor and beat dogs, that would lock in my first buy, my buy.
Your buy,
yeah.
And then if you go ahead and lose, Scott, I will take first.
Holy shit, dude! Look at Chris's banks right now. Buy, Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Well, that works out well for me.
Yes, it does. So I was like, holy shit, he must have a lot of buys because he's, you're projected to kick the shit out of him right now. And then I went and I looked and I was like, oh, all of his people are on buy already. So he's already set his lineup for the week.
He needs to put Mixon in still.
I haven't set my lineup yet.
Yep. Dude, I love this time of the season, right? So this is the hard part is I have a tendency to sort of lose interest between, call it week 8, 9, and the playoffs, and the playoff push. This year I tried really hard to stay on top of it, and I made it all the way to like week 10 before I lost interest. And then so like there was a couple of weeks in a row where I just didn't even look at waivers. Like I was just whatever, doesn't happen, doesn't matter. So so good luck to all of you out there who are running your fantasies or your fucking playoffs. There we go. I would again suggest, we would all suggest that if you are in a league that is playing through to week 18 as your final championship weekend, leave that league.
Oh.
This is the worst decision you can make, because what ends up happening is all of the good players end up sitting on the bench for the last week of the season, the actual NFL season. And so here you are running into the final stretch, the final game of the season with all of these all-stars that are all sitting on the bench because if you've got a really good player, they're probably on a team that's in the playoffs, and if they don't need to win, they're going to be benched by the second half. So that's week 17 is already pushing it because you're already going to have to deal with that a little bit. But unless you're in the NFC, because nobody has a lock on the NFC. So unless you're the Eagles. So, oh shit, I have a lot of Eagles. I put a lot of chips in on the Eagles, and I could be staring down a week 17 bye week hell basically. Who do the Eagles play in week 17?
That is why we do not play in week 18, because week 17 will still have playoff contention likely.
Unless you're the Eagles and you're playing the Saints.
You want the Vikings to continue to win because they're only one game behind.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's a good call. I'm now a Vikings fan.
Yes, very much so. You want the Vikings
Cowboys
to stay
are also
right in there.
only 1-2 games behind. That's probably the bigger actual contender.
Yeah, the other thing is you may want to root for an Eagle loss here in the next week or two.
Yeah, that would help keep them in the mix for the bye week.
Preferably for you would be week 15 when you're on bye and they just don't do anything would be the best case scenario for you.
Yes. Yeah. So week 15, who do these sons of bitches play? What is going on here? Come on. There we go.
They have an easy
Washington
schedule
or something.
They are playing. Philadelphia is playing the Bears. So
they're not going to lose that game.
They're not going to lose that game. So they could be sitting some people in the second half of that game. Take a week off.
That's true.
Up. They're certainly not going to lose that game, though. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, this is probably your best possibility up until, I guess, who do they play week 17, though? Do they play the Cowboys week 17?
They play the Saints.
Or is that the final game of the week?
They play the Saints. So, yeah. So, which is an NFC team, so that matters. Week 16 is the Cowboys game. So, that's going to be a good one for me because that's playoffs, right? So, week 16... they're definitely going to be, They have to be playing the Cowboys tight. There's no question about it. That's going to be a full game. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Woe be to thee who faces me in Week 16. But this is my point, is pay attention to what you got. Pay attention to schedules. Start planning out your last couple of weeks of defenses. Like right now, New England is available in a lot of leagues, but they've got a pretty good little... finish, so I picked them up to ride them out the rest of the season. There's so pay attention to what you got coming down the pipeline. All right, Rick, what do we got for games?
Thursday night game. We have Las Vegas traveling to LA to face the Rams. Possibly the Baker Mayfield-led Rams.
Baker Mayfield-led Rams.
Las Vegas is 6.5-point favorites.
And no Aaron Donald again.
Correct.
6.5-point favorites? 7.5 point?
I'm going to take the Raiders.
6.5-point favorites.
Yeah,
you don't get to pick first, Frodo.
Too late. He already did.
Scott picks first.
But I was going to pick the Raiders anyway.
Yeah, I think we're all going to take the Raiders on that one. I just don't see it with the Rams.
Nope.
And the Raiders have actually been, productive the last few weeks. So this will be the game that they're not productive at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the New York Jets traveling to the Buffalo Bills.
This is going to be an interesting
Buffalo
one.
is 9.5-point favorites.
Ooh, I'm taking the Jets. Jets.
Feeling like I would be taking the Jets as well.
I'm on the same side. It's Jets.
Oh my God, you guys, quit following me around like puppy dogs, you guys. This is
just working out in your favor at the moment.
This was right, because taking the Bills against the Jets isn't a You know, I mean, talk about that's your opportunity to go on an island with the Bills, all right? Both of you guys could have taken that, but no, you decided to follow me. Follow
9.5 is just too big of a spread.
All right.
Yeah, it's a divisional game. I just don't. I mean,
Your butt's a divisional game.
The Jets are actually a decent offense. I mean, even in the loss, it was still a 5-point game with the Vikings, and Mike White still threw for like 300 and some yards. So they're still putting up points. I just think it's going to be closer than 9.5 points.
Yeah.
So,
what's going on?
And then we've got Cleveland traveling to Cincinnati. Cincinnati is 6-point favorites.
6-point favorites, huh? By the way, he who shall not be named, this little guy here, right there, this one here, Voldemort. He who shall not be named did bad this week. They won.
Yeah, real bad.
Good for them. But he was not good.
It almost looked like he hasn't played football in like 700 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sort of fun. I'm gonna take the Bengals here, right? I mean, Jamar Chase is coming back. This is actually was he back this week?
He was back last week.
He was back this last week. So that kid's good at football. So the Browns have such a good running game. They have such a good ability to control, but they can't. They just cannot keep pace with the Bengals. This is gonna be rough. Anybody want to go on an island with the Browns?
Cincinnati wins this game.
Yep, Cincinnati as well.
All right. Oh my God, this has to be a huge spread. Texans versus Cowboys.
It's ridiculous. The next game we have Houston traveling to Dallas. Oof. Dallas is 16.5-point favorites.
Jesus. And somehow, I'm not sure that's enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They just put 33 points up in the fourth quarter. Now, unless this is like one of those crazy trap games that Houston just like comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I will say that Davis Mills will be starting this game. They're going back to Davis Mills.
I saw that.
But how did they not end up with Baker? I mean,
because they have enough first-round picks to choke a buzzard.
Yeah, but still, I mean, give them a shot, right? I mean, they would have had priority. They have all priority.
True, but I mean,
and they
if
said,
you don't believe in it, you don't believe in it.
They said, nah. Didn't he go to school in Texas?
No, he was Oklahoma.
Yeah. I was thinking of Johnny Manziel. Okay. I'm gonna go out on a big old fat limb here and take the Cowboys, even with that giant amount of points. Somebody have the balls to do it? Anybody have the balls to take them Texans?
16.5. That's so many points.
It's all the points.
It's so many points,
I mean,
yeah,
it really could. I mean, if the Dolphins hadn't benched some of their players at half, it probably went 50-0. This last week they had a lot to play for, so they played the Browns stronger, but are they going to win by 17?
I don't see them being able to keep up with Dallas at all. I just really don't.
I gotta take the Cowboys.
I mean, unless Dallas sits all of their starters the entire second half, and they just are able to like squeak inside of it, I just don't see how. I don't see how Houston stays in this game.
And I also don't see the Cowboys doing that to a certain degree because they got to keep pace with Philly. Right? I mean, the Cowboys are in a wild card position.
They have to win every one of these games, and they have to do it handedly in order to keep the momentum on their side. Yeah. Because they already lost to Philly once this year.
Right.
Next up, we've got Minnesota traveling to Detroit. The 10-2 Minnesota Vikings traveling to Detroit, and Detroit is a 2.5-point favorite.
5 and 7 Detroit Lions are 2.5-point favorite.
Correct.
And that feels right because the Vikings feel fake, right? Don't they? They have to, they feel like, okay, so if, I don't know.
They've been in 9 one-score games, and they've won all of them.
Right. I mean, that's an old school. I mean, that was Seahawks forever. It was like, how can you keep winning these games by less than 1 score when everybody else goes 50-50 on those or whatever it is? I don't. Whatever.
They beat the Bills.
This is a fun one. This is one of the hardest games of the week to bet, and it just feels very weird. This game. Vikings don't seem good enough to beat the Lions, and the Lions don't seem good enough to beat the Vikings. And yet both are decent teams. I'm going to go with the Lions. I think that's going to be fun. I actually see them as the underdog here, even though they're the favorite. I feel like the Lions are the underdog, and I'm gonna take the Lions.
I am taking Minnesota.
Okay.
What's the line again on it?
2.5.
2.5 points.
So it's really like almost a pick. I'm gonna take Vikings here.
Nice. Island with my Lions.
Next up.
I did not bet this game on the spread. I bet it on the over.
The Vikings Lions.
That sounds accurate. Next up, we have Philadelphia traveling to the Giants. Philadelphia is 7-point favorites.
That one feels like it could be a trap game in terms of the spread.
Again, it's a divisional game.
Yeah, the Giants have been. Saquon Barkley has been just an insanely consistent fantasy player this year. He's 5th overall in standard and PPR. He's got 1 week under 10 points on the season. 1 week on the season under 10 points. And he's got 1 other week.
The last few games haven't been as good, though.
What was that?
The last couple of games have not been as good for Saquon, though.
They have not been as good.
He's definitely dropped.
But I think that's the perception here. Houston, going back to week 10. Houston, he had 23 points. Detroit, he only had 5.5 points. Dallas, he had 15 points. Washington, he had 19 points. I mean, so he's sliding a little bit, but that's because he hasn't had a big boomer game. That's what I mean, though, is he's had 1 game under 5, 1 game, a second game under 15, and then everything else has been 15 points or more. Every single game of the season. The first game of the season was his best game when they threw him the ball the most, and he had 32 points on the week. Everything else is like 15, 17, 18, somewhere in there. And it's just he's been playing rock solid on the whole. And it's a 7. Ah, gosh, that feels. Man, they put all of the rivalry games. Seems like they put all of the rivalry games at the end of the season, like back to back, like Philly this week, then a couple of games, and Philly again. Sorry, I've been trying to buy myself some time to actually commit to this, but I'm gonna go ahead and take Saquon Barkley here. I'm gonna take them to cover the spread and lose.
It was what was it, a 6.5?
7.5.
7 points.
7 points. Okay. 7 points?
7 points.
Okay,
I'm going to take Philly.
Yeah. Okay.
I am also taking Philly.
All right. There we go. That's the underdog one. That's the one I'm taking, finally.
Yeah, so, Scott, you are on an island with Detroit and the New York Giants. How does that feel?
It feels a little bit weird. I'm not going to lie. It feels a little bit weird. I'm less confident in my Giants pick than I am in my Lions pick. I feel very confident about the Lions pick. I do not feel super confident about the Giants pick.
Fair enough.
Are you guys on an island on anything?
Next up. What?
Not yet.
You guys are not on an island, correct?
No, not yet.
You guys are playing a safe game.
We picked the first 4 games even.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the last 2 games, Frodo and I have been together on.
Okay. Oh, that's cute. Okay. Next up.
This is the way we make ground, is what happens.
Yeah, right?
Next up, we have Baltimore traveling to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is a 2.5-point favorite.
Pittsburgh, 2.5 over a Lamar Jackson-less Ravens. But is that really that much different? Taking the Ravens.
I'm taking the Steelers.
I am also taking the Steelers.
You guys are just gonna sit over there and grab each other's dicks all night long, aren't you?
Don't get jealous.
In all fairness, Scott, you have
man.
been on the Steelers the last few weeks, and you've been correct the last few weeks.
Right.
So
doesn't that tell you something?
Next up, we have Jacksonville traveling to Tennessee. By the way, is there any injury update on Trevor Lawrence?
He's nuts.
Not really. We won't get anything probably till tomorrow to have some clarity.
I'll look it up, see what I can find here, but I haven't heard much.
Because it looked terrible. I know he continued to play through that game, but I'm super curious on to whether or not he will be playing this next week after all the adrenaline came out of him and all of that stuff, and then all of a sudden he went, "Oh, my leg's messed up."
He plans.
It looked like his leg was messed up.
He plans to play. Looks like it's a sprained left big toe, and the plan is for him to play this week.
We all watched that. His leg has to be made out of rubber.
No, his leg is just made out of fucking 22-year-old. You know, I mean, that's the sort of shit that these guys can do. Dak Prescott didn't start getting hurt until he was 26, 27.
Yeah, but that was one of those plays that made you go, "Ugh," and look away from the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a rough one. Yeah. I was surprised that he was back in the game.
Yeah.
It looked pretty nasty.
He's got that sunshine power.
Anyways, we've got Jacksonville traveling to Tennessee. Tennessee is 4-point favorites.
Tennessee. Taking them Tennesseans.
Yeah. Derrick Henry has raped them consistently forever.
And violently.
Yeah.
Deshaun would be proud. Hey, if you guys had to add one person to your family, not to like you can't just add Jeff Bezos, because then you know that there's going to be some trickle down like economics there and you're going to get the benefit of it. But if you had to add one person to your family that's just going to come and hang out with you guys every Christmas, everything stays the same, but you just have one more family member, who do you guys want to add to your squad?
I got to go first on this one too, and it's Ryan Reynolds.
That seems like the big, the easy, the like, obviously there's a lot of, wild energy about him, and that would be really fun.
It's the banter, and it just seems like it'd be like a fun experience. And when you get around, from, like, at least my family, we're always joking, giving each other hard times, playing games, stuff like that. So I think it'd tie in really well.
Can I tell you that I didn't want to pick Ryan Reynolds because I had a feeling one of you would have, and I didn't want to pick Ryan Reynolds because I want to continue to be the sexiest person in the family. And I don't think that there's any chance that my wife doesn't look at him. I mean, because I'm assuming he's related to me, not to her side of the family. So
even then, it might not matter.
Right, exactly. Like how far? Like, I mean, he's Ryan Reynolds. So how cousin are you? You know what I mean? Like, so Rick, who would you add?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh yeah, she's funny too.
That's a difficult one because you want to fuck her too, and you can't. And now you got this weird dynamic with your first
like,
cousin.
If we're just talking straight up family, this would be like the cousin you don't see on a real regular basis, but like every time you have a family event, you just go hang out with them and you talk shit about everybody else.
Sure, that sounds.
Have the best time.
I'm with you there. That all makes a lot of sense. But let me add this factor: I've seen her butthole. So
what?
I've seen her butthole. So like, why?
Well, in what movie is her butthole?
It's not your family,
huh? No. Oh yeah, that's a good point. It's not my family. So, I'd be happy to bang your cousin, if it was Jennifer Lawrence.
Exactly.
What? Okay, you're not answering the most important question in the room. What movie does she show her butthole in?
It's not in a movie, and I don't.
It was her leaked image thing.
Yeah. So okay, so I thought long and hard about this for the last 30 seconds because I actually changed. I changed my answer before. I was gonna go with like Seth Rogen because I feel like that would be really fun. Again, for the same reasons that you're talking about Jennifer Lawrence.
Seth Rogen.
But again, I've seen his butthole, so I don't want to like. But so I landed on Bill Murray. I think he would be the most fun.
Answer.
And he would be legendary to have as part of the crew at the Christmas party, right? Like everybody's sitting around and he's doing Scrooge bits the entire time. He's doing, he's just being, irreverent, like, Bill Murray, like classic Bill Murray, just hanging out in your house, petting your dog, serving up shots of fucking tequila. Like, dude, absolutely Bill Murray. I think that would be really fun. I think it'd be really fun. I haven't seen his butthole.
Jennifer Lawrence and Keanu Reeves.
He'd be cool. But again, so Ryan Reynolds, if you guys watch the Wrexham, Welcome to Wrexham, you'll notice that his energy in real life is a lot lower. And I believe that there's because he's talked about it a little bit before, he's got a Keanu Reeves style I need to perform. Or not need to perform. Keanu Reeves style depression, which I absolutely.
Can I change my answer?
Huh?
Can I change my answer?
Yeah, go for it.
Jack Black.
Jack Black. See, that's okay. All right.
That's a good call.
That's another good one. That's another good one. Good job. All right. Again,
you get the music, you get the funny.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that. Fuck, yeah. You get the funny, you get the music. Also, every once in a while, Kyle Gass is gonna come hang out, so you get sort of a 2-for-1 with that. Like if somebody else was like. I think it'd be cool if Rick was starting to hang out with the family. It was part of my family. Of course, I become a part of that, right? Like, I'm automatically included in that deal to some degree. Same thing happens with Kyle Gass and Jack Black. And just imagine sitting around like a 4th of July campfire or, a trip to the dunes. And you guys are sitting around a campfire. Everybody's kind of just getting, not like hammered, but, decently sloshed. And you have a couple of guitars, and it's awesome. Just hanging out with the D. That'd be amazing. That's a great call. Jack Black, good call. All right, what is the last game? What is the next game we're on? We're on KC and Broncos?
Yep, KC and Broncos.
I just icked my balls on camera because I forgot I was on camera.
The spread for that is 9.5 KC.
That's not enough points.
That's not enough points. I'm gonna take the Chiefs.
Yep, same here.
Well, in the sense that Denver couldn't even score 9.5 points not last week.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and go
defense that is way worse than Kansas City's.
And their defense is their only good spot, but it's just it can't play this much.
Todd and I were talking about that earlier today. This has to be the most upset defense ever
since the Legion of Boom, maybe. The tail end of Legion of Boom?
No, I mean, even more than that, because
they were at least winning.
When the Legion of Boom was there, they were still able to put points up in a game from time to time.
They just weren't getting the credit.
Defense.
And so that's different versus right now, they're not even getting wins. And you're right. You're absolutely right. This has to be the most upset defense, certainly in the league right now.
I guess one thing I will say is, at least with the Legion of Boom, they scored a lot of points as well.
They also put up some points,
This defense doesn't score a lot of points. They just don't allow many points either.
Right. I mean, they're playing unbelievable ball. but
Yeah.
they can't keep it within 9.5 here. So no, I'm taking the Chiefs here, and I think we all are, right?
Especially after KC just lost to Joe Burrow
Yeah.
for the third time this year.
Yeah.
Because they played late, or they played in January for a late game, and then they played in the playoffs, and then they just played this last week. So they've lost to Joe Burrow 3 times in 2022. 2 different seasons, but in 2022.
All by under a touchdown, right?
Yeah,
It's all been really close, yeah.
Field goal each time, yeah. God damn, dude.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're all taking the Chiefs here.
Yeah, we're all taking the Chiefs. Next up, we've got Carolina traveling to Seattle.
Yep.
Seattle is 3.5-point favorites.
Seattle.
Yes, give me Seattle.
Dude, this one's going to be an interesting one.
We've got Tampa Bay traveling to San Francisco.
Yep.
San Francisco is 3.5-point favorites.
Okay, it's not that interesting then, because that's not enough points. I mean, look, Tom Brady, they let him back into this game. Like, how do people keep letting him back into this game? When you have the chance to step on Tom Brady's throat, fucking step on it. And I don't believe that the 49ers are going to let up at all. If they make the same mistakes that they did this last week, 49ers are going to run all over this team. Just absolutely work this team.
The defense alone may outscore Tampa Bay.
Yes.
It may not have to be done by the offense at all.
Yeah. I'm taking the 49ers for sure.
Tampa Bay legit had no business winning this game this last week. Like, there's no reason that they should have won. They looked absolutely awful.
I'm surprised by that spread. Game. That's what got me off guard. Is not that the 49ers were the favorites, but that they're the favorite by only 3.5 points. Like, I thought this one was going to be like a 9-point spread.
I think this has a ton to do with Brock Purdy being in there.
Yeah, and I don't think that matters nearly that much.
I don't either.
I think 49ers walk away with this one at 3-point favorites or 3.5-point favorites. All of us, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You're not taking Tampa, are you? You're not being a Tom Brady lover this week?
I know you love joking on that thing.
Next up, we've got Miami traveling to the Los Angeles Chargers for the second game in LA this weekend.
And it's probably going to be a home game for the Dolphins.
Yeah, everybody gets stayed over.
Judging by the fact that there were a lot of Dolphin fans in Levi Stadium, I have no doubt in my mind that this will be a mostly Dolphin-led audience.
Yeah. You know where I'm going with this.
Oh, what's the spread?
I feel like we're all going this way. Miami is 3-point favorites.
Yeah, Dolphins for sure. For sure. Yeah, you just can't. No way. No way. No way.
The Chargers find a way to lose all the time, and this, like, even if they are competitive at the end, they find a way to, like, absolutely give it away.
Yeah.
That would be the only thing is based on the Chargers, this game could be within that 3-point window, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
I don't think the Chargers can. The Chargers defense can't do what the 49ers defense did to Miami this last week. And get the takeaways and get the sacks.
And let's talk real quick about Tua and how inaccurate he was this week. There was something weird going on with Tua, and I don't know what it was, but just watching him, I mean, for a guy...
I rewatched the 22 game. I rewatched all 22.
Yep.
And he was, I think, extremely nervous about the defense and the lack of his tackles being there. He was never setting his feet. He was getting really antsy feet, so he wasn't getting set.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense. I mean, really, it does.
Like, so I watched, was it Ocho, whatever it is. He's like, the first play from scrimmage, the touchdown from the Dolphins, is quick slant, everything, and it was great, right?
Yep.
They came back and ran the same play the next drive, but off the other side. And because the way the pressure was coming, he never looked. He never set his feet. And Trent Sherfield was open again, and he didn't get it to him. It was a missed throw to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I think what I see a lot of times is him looking to force the ball to Hill, and instead of reading what's given to him, he's waiting for Hill to get open, because Hill will get open on every single play, unless he's triple covered, and even then sometimes. So that's what I read when I was watching this game, is that it looked like he was being too patient, waiting for Hill to get open, and then when Hill was finally getting open or whatever, the time, the delay that it took to get to that spot screwed everything up, and his timing was off. So he was overthrowing and underthrowing, and there was something weird about it. I don't think that's going to stay that way, contrary to whatever Colin Cowherd wants to say. That fucking asshole.
Oh my god, that fucking dude is a twat.
Yeah,
especially in the sense that Teron Armstead will probably be back, because he was a game time decision. So I would assume that he'll be back in this game, which will make a huge difference for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, Frodo, he was probably concerned going up against the number one defense with the pass rush that we do with just our front four, when you don't have your tackles.
If we have
the first half wasn't even that bad.
Right.
He was getting pressure on him, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't until the second half that they really started getting after him over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And that strip sack fumble, if you go back and look at it, he got obliterated on it.
Yeah.
Low and high.
Yeah, he got hammered.
And there was the penalty that was on Bosa when he got hit in the legs. I'm sure that made a difference too.
Yeah.
I mean, Bosa took him out at the knees from behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah. And didn't get called for it. That was the one.
He did on the
penalty. That was that one where we had two big penalties, and then Miami had like 3 penalties in a row that pushed them out of range.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And even though we lost, you still saw how insanely fast they can score.
Watching Tyreek Hill in person is very difficult, because
he's so fast.
You can't keep up with him.
You're watching like Tua for the ball, and then all of a sudden you're like, where is he throwing to? And then you're like, oh shit, Tyreek Hill's halfway down the field already.
Right.
Wide open.
The physics don't really work, which is interesting, because that means that as a quarterback, your routes are run, or you have to plan for your routes at 2 different speeds. You at 2 different levels, at 2 different, and so, if most wide receivers are roughly the same speed as each other, and for a play to develop, they need to be consistently that same speed. So you have to rewrite these plays to either add time or add mileage, I guess, for Tyreek Hill, or add or make the other guys' routes shorter, so that way they are, because half the routes are out there to shed, to pull the attention away from the hot route, right, or whatever. And so, I can't imagine having to design plays using these guys. I mean, the algorithm to adjust just for the speed, because you just can't copy and paste the play, because your guys aren't going to be open yet, or the other 2 guys aren't going to be in position yet for Tyreek to be open, and it's just crazy. It's crazy. I mean, that's why you guys need a healthy Jalen Waddle back, because you need him at top speed to be able to put this stuff together, I think. Did
you see him almost catch Sherfield on that?
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
The other thing, watching a live game, which we obviously don't do on a real regular basis, but watching an NFL live game, I wish they ran all games in all 22. Like, I wish that's just how the games were done, because you see the games so differently.
Yeah.
Especially in the sense, like, when you're watching one of those elite type receivers, such as Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Tua is throwing the ball before Tyreek Hill has made his last cut. Tyreek Hill never looks like, Tyreek Hill has never, like, has his eye on the ball until, like, the ball is like 5 yards away. So he is turning, accounting for the ball, and then catching it when the ball is like 5 yards from him.
His last touchdown. Did he only have the one? I think he only had the one.
Yeah.
So on his touchdown pass,
yeah.
on his touchdown pass reception, he runs out, and then he runs a post, and I saw Tua throw this ball, and again I thought, holy shit, this is a totally misthrown ball because nobody's anywhere near him. But what he was doing was throwing Tyreek open.
The route.
But throwing Tyreek open is different than throwing other people open, because Tyreek, you can put it way out of the way and it looks like an errant pass, but Tyreek's going to get there anyway. And so that's
what his closure is so fast.
It was so,
when he doesn't have to jump 10 yards in the air like he was having to do in the first half of the game.
When the pass is on target, when he's got the space, it was incredible to see. I wish that I would have seen. I know that we had those two big plays, the first touchdown, the second touchdown for the Dolphins. I wish we would have been able to see a couple more of those big plays, especially out of I was really hoping for a better game out of the 49ers offense. And it was honestly a little bit disappointing. But obviously the score, they did well, but that was boosted a little bit by the defense, and their offense was pretty well in control. But I didn't see any
losing Jimmy
explosive
Garoppolo
stuff.
very much did not help that.
Nope.
Because we were all of a sudden running a safe offense,
Yeah.
even more so than we do with Jimmy G.
Well, I've got tiny little chunks of my throat falling out, so let's move on to the last game here.
That's
Last
delicious.
game, we have New England traveling to Arizona for Monday Night Football. Off their bye week, New England is a 1.5 point favorite traveling to the fresh Arizona Cardinals.
Damn, dude. The Cardinals just feel like this is one of the best teams with a bad record that is not playing well. The talent on this team is there. The ability for these guys is there. Cough, cough, Broncos. But I can't put my finger on why the Broncos aren't doing well. For the Cardinals, it feels like everything's right there ready to click. They've had injury problems. They haven't had their two wide receivers. They're killers on the field the entire time. And now they've got a healthy James Conner. They've got a healthy Hollywood Brown. They've got a healthy DeAndre Hopkins, or a full-time DeAndre Hopkins. Their defense was playing really strong ball a couple of weeks ago. This feels like Cardinals could take this one here. There's so many, if you take out the number one positional player, that's going to be DeAndre Hopkins. So Belichick plans for him, but now you've got Hollywood and you've got James Conner, and I think this is a good game for the Cardinals to win.
Yeah, I'm going Cardinals on this because I think Hollywood was targeted quite frequently, and I just don't think the offense is enough firepower to get past it from the Patriots.
Rick, are you going to go ahead and finally be on an island?
On the island.
You're going to be on the island?
Yep.
Oh my God, you risky son of a bitch.
I'm taking New England. You guys are taking Arizona. Frodo is not on an island at all. We are in agreement on 9 games this week.
Oh my God.
And there's only 13 games, so
not a
gonna be
terribly
lot of
exciting
movement
week. Yeah,
on this week. Unless Scott is wrong on all of his, and then we catch up a few.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of movement if I'm right or if I'm wrong. But if I split it, I should be okay.
Mean, maybe, but we probably will split them, and so there won't be a ton of movement.
Right. That's probably what's going to end up happening here. So, this is it, though, guys. Good luck in your final games here. Rick, I'm rooting for you in one of our leagues. I could care less about you in the other league. Frodo, I think I want you to lose all
you're
games.
Rooting for me in one league, and you're actively rooting against me because you want the 1 seed.
And you and I are playing each other in Dynasty.
You and me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
I'm rooting for Frodo.
Hey, what the fuck, man?
Dynasty.
That's not cool, bro. It's not cool.
Well, I want the 1 seed.
Yeah, you're not gonna get it though. Although this is a good week for you to. Wait, what's your situation on your tight ends here? You don't have a tight end. Oh, Gesicki. Well, at least it's a good week for my tight end to be out. Not that Cole Cometh's doing anything anyway.
It all depends on how Miami plays for Frodo.
Yep.
That's every game of the season.
That's what it depends on is if Miami plays well, Frodo's probably winning his week.
Yep. Put my money where my mouth is.
Fucking Cooper Kupp, man. I need him back. He's not coming back though. I needed him back. I really had hopes for him to come back. I hope
for him too, because I have him in Dynasty.
And I really wanted him to come back and make a good, strong playoff push for me. And instead, we're gonna. With Matt Stafford out, there's no chance. Even if he's healthy, they're not gonna risk him coming back with the record that they've got and Matt Stafford out. Nah.
Yeah, there's 100% no reason to rush him back.
I mean, let's say that Baker Mayfield comes in and just fucking runs the show this week. Maybe then, but I doubt it.
What happened to Alvin Kamara this year?
Lost some of his best offensive linemen, like Tron Armstead.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, Ingram outpaced him this last week.
Yeah. Yeah,
you can't tell me that Ingram's a better running back than Alvin Kamara.
Different coach, different scheme.
This is the thing that you got to remember about Alvin Kamara is he got the bulk of his value was coming from the receiving game, and so when they stop asking him to do that,
3 receptions or 3 targets
scheming,
in a game.
Yeah, that's scheme. That's quarterback play. That's I don't know. It doesn't make sense if you've got a guy that's supposed to get 100 catches a year and you're giving him 50. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Why is Ingram at the end of that game after he already injured his knee to try and ice the clock? Like, why not put Kamara in there? You literally cannot tell me that Kamara was not a better person to run that exact same play than Ingram.
Yeah.
At that point in the game.
Yeah.
Like, I do not that's why I was saying Tampa Bay had no right winning that game.
They really
shouldn't
have.
Handed to them by the Saints.
And then again, of course, the Saints punt at midfield with 3 minutes left on the clock. They punt it on 4th and 1 at midfield. They get a first down there, and now all of a sudden Tom Brady's got a minute and a half before he can, There's a lot of coaching problems.
Even if you didn't want to run Kamara, run Taysom Hill then where you ran Ingram there.
Yeah.
Like it made no sense why he was the one back in the game after he was already down with a bum knee.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it was a poor decision, and it seems like it's a couple of times this season that Tom Brady and the Buccaneers have been let back into a game by poor coaching. And
absolutely,
and that's and you just can't do that if he's going to take advantage of that. Like Deshaun Watson and Seuss, he's taking advantage for sure.
Absolutely, 100%.
So, all right, boys. So you can Follow me at Fantasy Unclean. You can follow Frodo here at Hobbit's Revenge and Rick at FF Mechanic on Twitter. Hobbit is also on Twitch. He is streaming.
Yep.
He will be streaming. Are you off tomorrow? Are you streaming tomorrow?
No, I swapped my days. I'm going to be off on Wednesdays now, but
Okay.
I might stream like Friday or something.
Okay. All right, boys. Have a good night. Have a good week. Good luck in your playoffs. Not good luck to you two in your playoffs, and everybody else. We will see you guys. We'll see you guys in a week. Peace.
Later.
Peace. Later.